play? Yes, I can. But very infrequently. Because I'm not there yet. And the same human struggle of emotions is the same struggle of emotions that you go through with your organization, because your organization is made up of
people.
And the two can't be that divergent. Yes, the organization, just like all the, let's go Star Wars and the midi-chlorians. No, just like the bacteria in my gut live inside this ecosystem that's me, which has a brand. But there is a microcosm in there, and they build this thing as an aggregate. So yeah, you have a brand, and then you hire people in to effectuate that brand, and they have to align with the ideas, the attitudes that result in the actions that support that brand promise. And so you're inclusive of your hires and their perspective of it. So their backgrounds then become a beautiful canvas of experiences and access to experiences and other ideas, because we all, despite that, led to a common understanding of the world that supports the brand.
So the conversation from 2 weeks ago about freedom has more layers.
Yes. But so saying, are we being inclusive? Yes. Of all perspectives and outline and understandings and viewpoints that have led us all to this common truth. Truth is commonly experienced. That's how you know it's truth. One lone whack job going, I think it's this way, might be a visionary, might just be a whack job. Let's test it against, does it feel right? If not, call it. So these very diverse experiences led to a common understanding and goal. That's how America was started in the first place. Melting pot, if you believe in this thing. Well, I don't believe in the thing, but I believe what I might get for free out of it, so I'm going to come there anyway. Not what we're talking about. Same way as big, powerful company. This is the brand, and we're hiring people in here to support that brand promise to our constituents. I have lots of ideas about how you should write in companies. Great. Does it break our brand promise? A little bit, not so much. Doesn't break the brand promise, but breaks how you do it, how you think about it, how you effectuate it. Come in, that is the essence of disruption. And that is the reason why you want diversity. For the disruption to see there's a better way to effectuate this mission. But if you say, hey, big company with a mission, but I don't care about it, they got money to pay for jobs, and they have a DEI goal, and I'm going to come in with my disruptive thing that is antithetical to the system and the product for these people. F you. Why would you are wrecking their thing. The consumer, this mission, this company is not here with their pockets to help you change the world in your doing of your job. How dare you infant that we have hired into the world. There's a big problem with, I'm hearing that the generations we're hiring now have been very safe spaced into a place that think that they, as a precious snowflake, should have room to.
This is what we're going to talk about today. Let's dive in. We're going to talk about snowflakes.
All right.
Welcome back to The Ether, the show that disrupts the way you think about running your business. Join me, Brandon, and my co-host, Sean Delaney, the creator of What If, on today's episode. Our goal is to provide context around what we talk about so you have the clarity to cut through the noise and the confidence to grow and run a truly harmonious business. Let's jump in and take the next step to achieving business freedom.
Hey, we're talking about infants. We're talking about Costco. We're talking about Wendy's. We're talking about a lot of things and snowflakes. And Sean is in another mood. Welcome back. Welcome back to The Ether. I hope you listened last week. Last week you went totally off the rails. This week, I can't make any promises. But what we are going to talk about today, in also with snowflakes and infants, is Costco and Wendy's going out of business in 2024. I promise all of this ties together. Sean, we were just wrapping up talking about snowflakes and infants, which we may get back to, but
Yeah.
what do you know about Costco and about Wendy's? Let's lay some context before we dive in.
Well, you're supposed to lay the context. What do I know about
I
that?
want to know what you know, because then I'll fill in the gaps.
I know.
I usually surprise you with these episodes like 20 minutes before we go live, which honestly adds to the magic. So let's unpack it. Let's tie it to Harmonious and show the listeners how their small business can look like this, but also avoid these pitfalls of running and thriving in business.
You keep telling me that the surprise is where the magic is. I don't know. I'm not fully convinced, but okay. All right. So what do I know about them? I know that Costco has a very strong brand as a big box store, and I know that I know a lot of things about them. I don't know where you're going, so let's just say that there. And I know that Wendy's had a very strong brand for a very long time, and now they may be missing the mark with their surge pricing, because that seems to violate the brand promise and seems to be very inwardly driven. How's that?
Okay, that's fair. Wendy's, you're pretty much there. Surge pricing, as the line grows, the prices also grow, and they can grow while you're in line. That's fun. I'm going to go get a $4.99 burger, and then surprise, you get to the counter, it's $12.99. I don't know what the surge pricing is. It's just a concept we're going to unpack here. Costco, if you haven't heard, they hired a new CFO. Their CFO of 40 years is retiring. He's done a phenomenal job. He's kept hot dog prices at $1.50, which are good on him. But people are concerned that the new CFO is from Kroger, and that position may compromise the brand values, the brand promise. They're going to raise prices. They're going to basically eliminate quality in their products. These are all the fears of the public. I saw these on TikTok videos and in the news. My sources are 100% accurate, but I also
one of those.
This is a very common thought in the marketplace for small businesses and big businesses.
Every one of those fears about the CFO are correct. They're well-founded. No, not him in particular. Was it him or her?
I think it was a him.
I thought you said that. So, yeah, there's a reason why finance isn't higher up in our architecture of disciplines. People say, where's finance? There are CFOs in the world, chief financial officers. And they have a seat at the table, yes. But that's because the architecture that we have for business is the essence of things that have developed to effectuate them in the world. And so things like strategy, it's very ephemeral. There's a way to think about it, though, in a way to hold true to that discipline. But you have to be very articulated about it. Change management, or the management of people, the leadership of people. These things can be hard to pin down. Finance is math. The math is the path, and it is what it is. Now, you can interpret it differently. Well, this is two oncologists, not equally skilled, looking at the same numbers. But the numbers are what the numbers are. And so if you need somebody to read the numbers, which are what many CFOs are, they can do that. But they're very internally focused. Now, some, like your best doctors in the world, can extrapolate from their discipline and understand other things. And then you go, wow, that doctor really gets me. As a person, as a human, they understand all the things. This is the difference between, this is bedside manner. The best CFOs have the best bedside manner. Bedside manner. They treated me like a person. Oh, I thought they were the best doctor in the world. Technically, they are skilled and can do the surgeries no one else in the world can do. But I just didn't feel good. when I was with them. Okay. Right? But we understand that there is a difference between skill and a more holistic feel. They understand other things in this dynamic, which makes them a better doctor in most people's mind. I have seen there are, look it up if you doubt what we're saying, there are many examples where the CFO has risen to CEO position and been a failure. How could they be a prominent CFO for 3 mega giant companies and then fail? And we can blame all kinds of things. Wasn't a cultural fit, wasn't this, wasn't that. Right. They knew exactly how to be a CFO. They didn't know how to be the CEO. They didn't have that skill set. They didn't see all the pieces they needed to see. Can it be done? Absolutely. But being the CFO, let's understand, when you're doing that thing really well, it means you're not necessarily doing other stuff well. When Kennedy became president, he hired a Secretary of War, which is what we call then, who was a war hawk. His answer to everything was bomb them to the Stone Age. And when they asked, how could you do this? He's always going to counsel for war. He said, yeah, he's the Secretary of War, not because I need to know what he thinks about going to war, because he's going to want to go to war. But God help us, should we ever go to war, I want him fighting it. That's his discipline. That's what he knows. And that's his lens. Just like you should as the owner of your own company. That's diversity towards the common cause. The CFO should believe in the same effect as me, as should every other C-suite person or voice in my head or anybody we hire. We should all be tied to effectuating the mission first. And then we bring all these disciplines together beautifully to support the brand promise. I don't think surge pricing benefits Wendy's customers. It benefits them. So it seems very, I mean, I don't know through what lens other than an internal financial lens to say, well, it works for other companies. Well, if you're trying to get a flight late, it's going to cost more than if you try to, book it in advance. Is that the next thing now? I have to order my burger in advance to get the pricing.
To get
And
good
then they're going to hit
There are companies that do that. I'm not saying fast food, but in order to get specific pricing, you have to order online or order ahead, or else there's in-store or at the door ticket cost kind of thing.
Yes.
It wouldn't be out of reach.
Oh, sure. And it's brilliant for them. And so what does Wendy's think they're doing? We're looking at we're being very creative, and we're looking outside of our industry at other industries and what they're doing. And we see other industries are doing this and it works. Not fast food. What's the purpose of fast food? Oh yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a business for us anymore. Then exit the business. But you're serving a constituent that wants fast food at a certain quality for a certain price with a certain regularity. That is the staple of their day. I need something to be the same today that wasn't yesterday. I need to drive up there and know what a nugget costs. I got here 5 minutes too late. Now it's 50 more cents. It's not that good of a nugget that I have to have. I don't care. Take the best nugget and the worst nugget. The difference between the two of them isn't worth the bullshit that you're trying to put me through so you can be more profitable than them, who keeps it the same for me. What? And it's better.
Yeah, so we'll get back to Costco in a minute because that's a different discussion. But the Wendy's example I think is amazing because they may have looked at other industries, they may have looked at concerts and whatever and at the door pricing. They didn't look across the street, and Chick-fil-A, pun intended, is eating their lunch. Chick-fil-A said, we have a demand issue and we don't want people to wait in lines. So what do? We put highly trained air traffic controllers in our parking lots with iPads, and they may be in high school. That's okay. But they get people through the door quicker than probably most airports get people to take off from their airplanes.
And here's why you don't even care if they're not the best trained kids in the parking lot, because we know those kids are there because they care, because they don't hire the ones that don't. And we know they're only out there not to make more money, because Wendy's is making more money by trying to flex price me.
And it's not going to their employees. Let's be very clear on that.
No. So they're doing that. You're doing this. I'm okay with the kid going, oh, sorry, I'm just learning this. Kid, you're doing the Lord's work. You know, you're doing a job for the right reasons. For me, the consumer, the brand loyalty leaps and bounds that company is making versus any of the others. And then now Wendy's, thanks for making a decision that puts you in last. You could have just been the gray box dispensing nuggets. I've actually seen McDonald's now where they have it's a new thing. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I think of McDonald's with the playlands and the colors and the thing. They're gray boxes now. You walk in, there's a screen. Couldn't be more sterilized than ever. You punch it, and then you even can push a button that says they don't even have to talk to you. They'll just put it in the side, and you can just slink away with your little thing. Or they'll come up and go, 42. You say 42. And you take your pellets, your government-issued pellets, and you walk away. Orwell is now going, man, this shit you guys are doing that I didn't even think of, but you know. And we've been slow boiled to this place. We can do that. Or you can look across the street and say, they're not doing that. And Wendy's now is kind of fumbling in the middle. And of course, we know it's an internally finance driven thing because they didn't look across the street. They didn't look anywhere. That was
let's pick that apart for a second.
More money. The CFO can always tell you that. How
Yes.
to reach more people, deliver more value, change more lives. That's not that question. That is a reactive measure. That's like saying, asking the CFO how your company can make more money is like asking a personal trainer how, no parentheses, can I lose more weight? Well, you could make yourself throw up every day.
It's a solution.
You could. And they say, and I guarantee it'll work. I guarantee it'll work. Well, that sounds good because I got to hit a certain weight by a certain date. That sounds great. They're not looking at the whole solution. It is one thing. So you ask them, how do we do that? Less calories. Got it. Good advice. Rest of you, how do we do that? Well, does it mean you're not going to, and then someone says, does it mean you're not going to have any energy to pick up the kids because you are a parent? Oh yeah, I have to do that. That's a brand promise. What else? Does it mean you're not going to destroy your esophagus and your entire system so you can't live? Oh yeah, I made a promise to myself. Part of my brand promise is I will maintain the integrity of this system. Great. What else? Go through the list. Incredibly valuable information. Let's put it in the perspective. Now, if that person understands the rest of it, they are a multi-talented Da Vincian. They're Prince. They're playing all the instruments. I knew I'd work Prince in somehow. They're playing all the instruments. Great. We understand now what this is from a holistic level, right? You can see it. You don't have to understand the entire architecture to understand that that was not a decision based on us, which is why the market reacts that way. Can you believe it? They're going to try this. And they're like, or they're not like saying whoops. They're like, well, no, by this spreadsheet, we run our company. How else can I make the numbers do what I want? And that kind of attitude is how do I make it what I want? That's why it's so easy to turn to those kinds of numbers when times are scary. Because strategic planning, maintaining your brand, trying to increase sales and marketing, these kinds of things are not up to you. So you hope that what you do will be successful. And that's the burden on the entrepreneur, is I'm the ultimate arbiter of these decisions. I'm hoping. And when things aren't always working, you go to certainty. What will move these numbers? And then a well-meaning person says, the math is the path, the numbers are the way. You want to keep more this month? I'll tell you 15 ways to do it. We can do that. We've had people ask us to do that. We tell them that. Not independent of all the other stuff we do, which is why we have the sprints that we have. Brandon, you know this. I'm talking to you because I'm looking at you, but
well, hang on real quick. I gotta push back on that, because you said a dirty word. You said hope. And I think that's the magic of the architecture, of the harmonious architecture, because if you look at side by side, let's leave Wendy's out of this for a second. Let's compare McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A, both, I would argue, know their brand promise and are very secure in who they are as a company. I don't believe Wendy's is. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Doesn't matter. McDonald's added automation because their brand promise was cheap, quick, fast food. They were the inventors of fast food. Chick-fil-A is all about experience, friendliness, customer service. They added people to solve the demand issue. So in the architecture, they actually both honored their navigation and made the right choice. Whereas Wendy's, I mean, the only reason this is a problem in the marketplace, nobody complained when McDonald's eliminated jobs to add automation, because that's who McDonald's is. We expect that from them, and we're not judging them. Wendy's, I think the real issue is they have offended their brand promise. They lost sight of who they are, the promise they've made to their customers, and now it's impacting their customers in a negative way. How do you feel about that statement? Because I think when you say hope, the dirty word of hope, you don't have to hope. There's an architecture to lean on. You make the right decision according to your brand.
I didn't say it was a dirty. I didn't say it was. You said it was.
I said it was a dirty word. I'm saying, how do you feel about that comparison side by side, and how Wendy's actually offended their brand?
You know, so here's what I mean. I meant by the statement. When I say those other things, if they're trying to impact their brand, their messaging, if they're going from a marketing kind of way, brands who are struggling to get noticed, to take off, these are the kinds of companies that come to us to say, we have a great product, why isn't it working? That is why they are punching at all kinds of marketing messages and offers and things and processes, and they don't know where to go. So without clarity on where the problem is, they are doing things in the hope that it will change. Chick-fil-A is not operating on hope. They're operating on faith. They're operating on knowing that they've cracked the code and they know who they're. So I don't mean that. What I meant is, if you're struggling and you can't make the numbers, you're hoping the things you will do will affect your success, then you can turn to a CFO to say, we'll turn this ship around. That's why also sometimes struggling companies that don't have someone, or big companies, a MetLife could for a moment say, you, former CFO who took us public, need to be the next CEO. And he says, I'm a legendary CFO, but I don't know if I know all those other skills, right? Can't do the job because he doesn't know the rest of the pieces. Now, a company like a Chick-fil-A, where they understand their entire value chain, and that is what is driving the marketing, and that is what is driving their operational decisions on how to flex at points in time like this, is masterfully done. For Wendy's to say, do such an internally focused, we're going to do this thing, such that it angers their customers who could go across the street. That's why it's a little different than the airlines, because the airlines can screw with you, but my airline of choice just screwed with me recently, and I went across the hall, got a flight on a different airline, and guess what? Sorry, it wasn't bad at all. I had somehow, because of my loyalty to this airline, thought, and having even been once screwed by the other one, I'll never fly there again. And then because of the Boeing jet controversy, my airline of choice didn't have flights for me for 3 days. I had to go across the hall. It was great. My airline, in the way they handled the issue, now just awakened to me the fact that maybe there are other options. And so Wendy's, in their little, we had some brand loyalty now because people are waiting in line, so we must be great. Instead of making it more efficient for us to get more product out like they would do across the street, we're going to charge you more. Fuck off, Wendy's, because your product isn't so much better. I mean, I'm going to flex, and then they're going to win me, and you're going to have a hard time getting me back, because now anything you do is going to be chasing what they did. And as long as you're across the street from each other, which is typically how franchises put you're going to be within if there's nothing here, there's nothing here. If there's something here, there's everything here. So
they do have Frosties, though, and McDonald's is notorious for not having a working ice cream machine. So maybe they're holding on by that.
Different ether. Different show, on a lot to unpack there, but you're right. Maybe they are. I don't know. I think they're missing it.
No, I like this, though, because I think the moral of what we're saying here is when we translate this to small businesses and entrepreneurs, if you see your competition or people who are in a similar industry as you making mistakes like this, that's the time to pounce. That's the time to double down on what you do really, really well. If I were Chick-fil-A, I would do something in terms of like, we'll serve you in 3 minutes or it's free, and not change the price. Like something drastic to draw attention onto them and how bad it is, and then back onto you of how superior you are. That's an opportunity right there.
What? Oh, Chick-fil-A now has been served up a delicious
silver platter of opportunity
of chicken minis. The things they can do. I keep talking about chicken minis. We should be sponsored. I love those things.
Sponsors, reach out. We will not say bad things about you unless you are Wendy's.
I used to love Wendy's so much. I still do, but so dumb.
It's the absence of navigation, and that's the point we're making here. Is if you know your brand promise, if you know who you serve, why you do it, that's where we start with all of our clients. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a story. One of our clients, I don't think I ever told you this story, was at a growth phase where they needed a CFO. They needed a fractional CFO. We are their fractional COO. Not our business, the numbers. We're not so good with the clickies, but we can help you run your business. I didn't go to accounting school.
True.
No, but they came to me and they said, and I'm purposely keeping this vague for privacy, because what they said was they had a meeting with this fractional CFO, and I was like, fantastic. I think you're at a phase where you definitely need this strategic direction over your finances and the growth of your company, obviously under our oversight of how you run your overall operations. And the one concern was, but our culture is built on teamwork and camaraderie, and I actually incentivize people going to lunch with each other. I pay for it as the company, and I don't want to lose that kind of thing. I want to do fun things for my employees. I don't want a CFO to come in and say you have to kill all of that. And I said, you don't. You're the CEO. I'm essentially your fractional COO. There's two people who need to authorize any decisions like that before we change your company culture. So kind of swinging away from Wendy's and back onto Costco, we're pretty bearish on Wendy's, but I see no issues with Costco because there is a chain of command, and that size company has a board of directors, investors, shareholders. There's a lot of people decisions need to go through before you start impacting the brand. Now, hopefully they don't succumb to the same fate that Wendy's did, but I think Costco is pretty strong on their brand promise and who they are.
Amen to that. I think Wendy's will figure it out. They'll figure it out. Because
they've been around long enough. They know what they're doing.
Unless a couple of their competitors jump in that same boat and then they all think it's a thing. and then it takes them like 5 years to figure out it's not a thing. And 3 of them go out of business. Some of the circus tent providers of food all get homogenized and go out of business. And they're right. Then it's just one gray building where you drive up and nuggets you push the button yourself, which there are, right? There are these now where they've moved to gray buildings. You go in, there's a kiosk, sterilized, you push a button, and then nuggets are dispensed. We're 2 steps away from being pigeons trained to click a button and
no, that's happening. I saw that in the last time I flew at the airport, Raleigh-Durham Airport. There are whole walls dedicated to fast food service. You don't see a single human being, and it was new for me. And we're talking like 2 months ago. I was like, "What have we come to?" It's insane, but it's a very real possibility for all of these franchises.
I went to a Wendy's in an airport. Hey, daddy's traveling. Nobody's watching what I eat, right? So took the opportunity. Had to get a quick flight. Went up. Oh, no, you don't stand in line. That would require people. You got to punch the buttons like a good pigeon. And then people will do this. And then they had this weird system of people walking around, nobody really understanding what each other does. And they're looking all confused. And then people, the humans, the pigeons, sit around like going, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So we're all just communally learning, right? And then they'd go, 15. No, the kiosks didn't actually print any tickets. So unless you were really paying attention, you didn't know what number you were. So people going, well, what's the order? Now, what is the order? Right. So, and then they go, some kind of sandwich. Oh, and then another one would come out, and somehow he's getting it because he said scene, right? Because he can't pronounce the arcane Gaelic dialect Sean spelling, right? Scene. Now I'm stepping in front of other people. Yeah, is it a sandwich? Yeah. Right now, somebody else had to give me a drink. I said, she's like, what'd you have? And I'm like, don't you have I told her what it was. And then she looks at a bunch of nondescript, all pre-filled, because she was just pre-filling fountain drinks. And then she just handed me one. Now, it was clearly root beer. It wasn't what I ordered. When I finally just walked off in a huff, because now I'm like, this was supposed to be fast. It's clearly going to be wrong. I get there. I take a sip. Not what I wanted. I go, whatever. It's liquid. I'm getting on a plane. Who cares? Open the sandwich. And I wanted a plain, regular, home-style chicken fillet. That's it. Don't put anything on it. It had extra mayo, tomatoes, lettuce, and wasn't even the regular chicken fillet. It was the spicy chicken fillet. It could not have been more wrong. And I just sat there looking at this, and it was a mess. And I just wrapped it back up and threw it away. What is this thing?
That's where we're going. That is where we're going.
And where am I going to go back to complain about this or anything else? And that's how they get you. And that is the systematized take it and walk away kind of mentality. And you see, and now they're doing this. I'm not surprised.
No. Yeah, I saw a video the other day of this guy was making fun of Starbucks. I love Starbucks, big fan, spend a lot of money there, get a lot of my caffeine there. And he was like, did you guys know Starbucks has this new grab and go section where you could just pick up a drink that's named and walk out the door? Listen, with enough confidence, you can go get free meals every single day with different people's names on them. That is not what we're telling you to do, but that's where we're headed as a society. So Sean, sorry to mispronounce your name. Scene, what is the lesson from this episode? What do small business owners need to learn from both Wendy's and Costco? Costco's fine. We love Costco. You're amazing. Wendy's and Chick-fil-A, what can we take away to make our businesses better and give our customers a better experience?
You're glossing over your strategic planning. You are glossing over your brand, articulating it, solidifying it, and doing everything and tying every process in your business to supporting that brand promise. You don't, right? You can, and I'm not lecturing people. We saw
No, please
Bud
do.
Light.
Please do.
Bud Light did this. Massive companies violate this all the time. Spend the time understanding your core values, your mission, and your vision, tying that to your value chain, your brand promise, and your value chain, and automate and decide from there based on the analytics tied to the end of that chain. That is all business in the most rudimentary form, but you do that and you can't screw it up. Mess with any of that and you can't get it right. That's it.
That's all you need to know. We are open to sponsorships, Costco and Chick-fil-A. If you're willing, reach out to us. We'd love to have you.
You get it right twice. Did I say you can't get it right twice?
That is the message. No, that's fantastic. All right, so take that away. Make sure you get that right in your business, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Ether. Thanks for watching.